Pinkies up. It's time for another Geek Out Book Club. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And this week we're going to be talking about, I guess just 24 hours before it comes out. But hey, it's still an advanced review of the first volume of Archie Comics' relaunch of Archie.
Yeah.
By Mark Waid, and the first 3 issues are by Fiona Staples. Issue 4 is drawn by Annie Wu, and the last 2 issues are drawn by Veronica Fish, who's now the regular series artist moving forward. So yeah, I mean, this was kind of a big deal. I mean, you were still working at the comic shop when they announced and I guess released Archie #1. Did you see a lot of like first time Archie subscribers and buyers?
Yeah, I did. You know, a lot of it had to do nothing against Archie, but it had almost entirely to do with Mark Waid and Fiona Staples. You know, the Archie fans were there. You know, I don't know. I feel like some were
put off because it's not Archie. You know, it wasn't. But they're
like
still publishing. Like,
it's but it wasn't like, you know, who's this like good looking dude on the front cover with a guitar. You know, I mean, you know, Mark Waid and Fiona Staples carry a lot of weight in the comic community in terms of like people will pick up books because their name's on it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because Archie's on it. Now the good thing is, and I can say this having read it, it's you know, it's worth it. You know, it's really, really good. It's not just we got Mark Waid and Fiona Staples on it, you know, as some kind of like let's sell comics. It's worth the read big time. Like, it's a really, really good book.
It is, yeah. I mean, and there's Mark Waid's like in his like 50s, but for some reason he knows how to just dial in to that timeless, like, we're in high school, like.
Well, not only that, like, I mean, you know, some people might be like, no, he doesn't get it right, but like the female dialogue, I'm like, Mark Waid wrote this? Like, the dude who fucking did Birthright, Kingdom Come wrote this?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
which isn't a slight, because, you know, he presents like Lois as a fairly strong figure.
No, yeah, but like the way he would write, like, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, like the bitchy girls trying to get Betty to, like, you know, they're going to the mall and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's written very, you know, not that you wouldn't expect Mark Waid to do that, and that's a testament to Mark Waid.
Yeah, because he's known for the flights and tights.
Yeah,
and suddenly he's writing like, it's not High School Musical. Like, there's a bit more.
Oh, thank God it's not.
There's
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Oh,
yeah, boo.
Yeah, no Zac Efron. Oh, but there is a bit of an edge, but it's like, and he says this in like in the closure. He's like, you could easily do an Archie thing where Jughead gets busted for having a meth lab, trying to make it edgy and modern, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make it timeless, but at the same time kind of have that realism to it.
Yeah. Well, I remember Walt Flanagan on Comic Book Man, they asked him like what university you want to live in, and he was like, Riverdale, Archie. He's like, nothing bad happens there. He's like, I mean, now we know. And he's like, I'm not talking about like Punisher and like Predator stuff. He's like, you just live your life there. You're not having Kryptonians show up. You're not having Spider-Man, you know, just fine.
Well, it was Tim Seeley when we had him on the show. He was like, if you think about it, Riverdale is like the perfect setting and cast for a horror movie without the horror element.
Yeah, basically. And then you add, you know,
until he brought the horror element into Riverdale.
Right
on. And Hack Slash. Yeah.
Or Archie vs. Predator.
Or Archie. I got to say this, so for years, there's the reference. I would always see like Archie digests or Betty and Veronica or Jughead digests at the supermarket. As like, you know, as far back as I can remember, like seeing like magazines in the checkout lane or in the magazine rack, and I would just be like, what is this kind of like I Love Lucy in high school kind of like, because there was always the feeling, even though I guess Archie was like, you know, DC Comics or Marvel Comics with a sliding time scale or James Bond, that it took place now, but it always looked like it took place like in the 50s.
Yeah, like Silver Diner style.
Yeah. They go to like Pops to like drink like malt shakes, which I guess they still kind of do.
Yeah. Well, I remember, you know, the big thing, you know, of Archie being probably on all of our radar is in recent times before this is, you know, the Afterlife with Archie and the Death of Archie. I mean, the Death of Archie was huge.
Yeah, or Kevin Keller, Life with Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you know, Archie.
George Takei.
Yeah. Oh, my.
That's how I met him.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, he was doing.
That's what he was promoting?
Yeah, he was doing a signing at Midtown Comics when I worked there for his appearance in Archie. I guess it was a Kevin Keller like #1 or something like that.
Yeah, the Life with Kevin spinoff.
Yeah. And he's a predominant figure or character in either that issue or had been.
He marries Kevin Keller, I think.
Oh, well,
he doesn't marry. He's the officiant.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was about to say, woo,
bit of an age divide. Yeah.
It's a January-December marriage.
Oh my,
Chris, you son of a bitch.
But yeah, so that's how I got to meet him.
But yeah, so I would always see these like digests, and I would just be like, I'm looking at like Maximum Carnage or the Death of Superman next to it, and I'm like, I want those.
Yeah, I mean, I remember even before my dad was really getting into like Ed Brubaker being his favorite person on the planet. Today he walked up to me and he was like, Brubaker and Bendis are my boys, and then he walked away.
Brubaker's going to be at Emerald City.
I told him, and he was just like, oh. Cool. I never thought in a million years I'm gonna be walking up to Ed Brubaker to say, can you sign this for my dad? Anyway, yeah, I remember he came to, he was like, hey, I there's something about the
timelessness of Archie.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's in his 60s, and like Archie. It's not his he doesn't love Archie.
Archie turned 75 this year.
Archie doesn't, he doesn't love Archie. He didn't collect Archie.
Yes, the character actually turned 70.
Yeah, but
Old man Archie.
He ages in real time like Dredd, whose his 39th birthday was a couple of days ago, but he's like in his 60s or 70s now. Anyway, for real. Anyway, my dad was like, "Can you buy me The Death of Archie?" Because like there's something that's being a 60-some-year-old guy, like Archie is like. Yeah. Whether you're an Archie fan or not, like he was like, I need to have that book.
I mean, to the point where like Joss Whedon straight up name drops Betty and Veronica, or at least Veronica in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And Mark Waid called Age of Ultron his favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film to date. Mm-hmm. He really liked the depiction of Scarlet Witch, and Vision's one of those
favorites. Two were money.
Yeah.
Money.
But this was like a gateway drug because I had never read, to kind of build on what I'm saying, I had never read an Archie comic in my life. Not Afterlife, not Death of Archie, not Archie vs. Predator, not Archie vs. Punisher.
Mm-hmm. Archie meets Kiss.
The only tangential stuff I knew about Archie was Josie and the Pussycats are technically from the Archieverse.
Yep.
And so I would watch the show and see them team up with like the Scooby-Doo gang.
Watch the movie.
Oh, yeah, with Rachel Lee Cook. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good call. But I
love that movie.
Yeah. It's everything Spice World should have been.
Mm.
But Alan Cumming is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I knew that Sabrina the Teenage Witch was from the Archieverse. And she's got her own like horror series now through
that's right.
Through Archie Horror. And of course, being a kid of the 90s, I watched Melissa Joan Hart as Sabrina Teenage Witch.
Sure.
But again, I never read an Archie book until Archie #1 back in July. And that book did like gangbusters. I don't know what the response was at the store.
#1's
hand over fist
at the time. The book did well. I think it had a bunch of covers too. Or maybe I'm thinking Death of Archie had 1 million too, but it did. I remember it doing well, and I remember I think you're a testament to being like, obviously you're a big Mark Waid fan, and having Mark Waid on it has helped you want to pick it up, because if it wasn't Mark Waid,
Fiona Staples from Saga.
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of bummed that she was only on for the first 3 issues.
Yeah, but
she was always going to go back to Saga.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her stuff, and then she did a couple all new Ghost Rider covers that were freaking amazing. Anyway, I just wish there was more Ghost Rider, but
yeah, this collects the first 6 issues, like I was saying.
Yeah, and it did well. It really did, and the word I kept thinking when I was reading it, which sounds like really cheesy and cliche, was like life affirming. Like I read it like I watched Perks of Being a Wallflower,
or Gilmore Girls,
I mean, Gilmore Girls is the toppermost of the poppermost. But and I couldn't, and I mean this as an absolute compliment, I couldn't get Ezra Miller's voice out of my head for Jughead. Like, I see Jughead as Ezra Miller from Perks of Being a Wallflower. And
I can see it.
And I think,
and you can hear it.
Yeah. And not every single scene, but certain scenes where he's being kind of a smartass.
Yeah.
And I want to now read the Jughead comic like a motherfucker.
Well, and you're in luck, because with this collection, you get the first issue of Jughead in the backup, just by Chip Zdarsky and Erica Henderson, who also does Squirrel Girl over for Marvel. And of course, Chip Zdarsky writes Howard the Duck and draws sex criminals for Image. So all-star lineup there. And I think because remember they were originally going to kickstart a bunch of Archie sister titles. The original plan was Chip Zdarsky and Erica Henderson on Jughead, which happened. I think the first issue came out in like October.
How many issues is it so far?
Well, October, November, December, January. So it's like 4 or 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't assuming it's on time because so many comics aren't.
Yeah, I think there's only been 4 issues or so. But Adam Hughes was going to do a Betty and Veronica comic. But I will say, I feel like, Josh, if there's, because I feel like you're a bit in the same boat, and I feel like you would really identify with Jughead.
Yeah, definitely. Like, much with what you said, Sam, I would have never picked up an Archie comic in my life. Like, it just, the time setting, the subject matter was just never anything that really interested me. And I start reading a few pages through this one, I was like, okay, the art looks, thank God, a hell of a lot better. The subject matter is, something you'd find in a modern day, not directly towards teen audience, but something like 10 Things I Hate About You kind of material. And I was pleasantly surprised with it.
If there's one thing I know about you, you love 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, damn right.
I mean, who doesn't?
That's a great fucking movie.
I mean, it's got, Robin and the Joker in it.
And Alex Mack.
Oh, yeah. I love the secret world of Alex Mack.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Larissa Olnek.
I love Alex Mack.
She's she's married to, her character in Mad Men's married to Ken Cosgrove, the guy with the eye patch.
Yeah, the guy who's L.A. Noir, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it was cool to see her, like, in adulthood continue to act. But no, I really dug there was one thing, the single issues, they have Mark Waid's personal selections of his favorite Archie stories.
Oh, nice.
You don't get that with this one, but again, you get Jughead #1. So that's something that I was like, well, it would have been nice. But also, how heartbreaking was the lipstick incident?
Oh yeah, that was the moment where,
without going into what it actually is,
there's just the paneling and the way it was laid out when they're in the theater and what Archie's thinking of. That was intense, man. I mean, like the super relatable stuff. I'm not saying like that happened to me, but like elements of that, thinking back to what was.
Yeah. Like I said, there's kind of like a timelessness to the high school. For some reason, damn it, Mark Waid, you can write Superman Origins, you can write Superman versus Magog, I guess, and taking on like the UN, but you can also write high school.
Yes, the timelessness definitely fits with this version of Archie. I think if people were to go back to the Archie of yesteryears, they'd be like, this shit doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. He kept Pops, and I didn't know how he was going to be able to do it.
Well, I have the feeling like there are some towns you can go and visit that still look like what Riverdale looks like in the modern telling of it. Yeah.
Does it make you more or less excited for the CW show?
Yes. If the CW show is in any way similar to where the current Archie is, all
the promo art is based off of the relaunch.
Sold. I've got it queued up on my DVR already.
There you go. So, and it really, like I was saying, it really was a gateway drug. Obviously, I've been reading Jughead by Chip Zdarsky. I've been reading Afterlife with Archie now. I've been reading Archie vs. Predator. I guess that's it. Okay.
But still, I mean, compared to the zero Archie you were reading before, it's done its job.
Yeah. And so, I really have to, and I'm always skeptical about a reboot. I think maybe because of Heroes Reborn and the New 52. Like, after that, I was like, do we need
Or how Hollywood handles them to some people.
Depends on the reboot. I mean,
really
like,
does.
there's the Batman Begins, and then there's, I'm trying to think of what's a shitty reboot? Fantastic Four. Yeah, there it is.
Literally about to say.
Yeah.
Yep. That was maybe not the best.
But this is, like, I guess, in terms of quality, the dread of reboots for Archie.
Yes.
Yeah, in tone, exactly.
Where you have an amazing source material, Judge Dredd, and then a really good
the
reboot.
comic book.
Yeah. No, the movie.
Oh, wait. Is Judge Dredd your favorite Judge Dredd movie? Jesus, I had no idea.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Have 3 copies of it on Laserdisc.
Jesus, I know you had 2. You got
I have the broken one. I have the good one,
They're
and then
all
I have
broken,
the French
Chris. They're all broken.
My favorite moment in we'll talk about Archie again in a second. I swear to God, there's a moment where the guy that plays Herschel on The Walking Dead,
the Angel Gang.
Yeah, he's in the wasteland and he's trying to kill Judge Dredd, and he's advancing on him with a harpoon, but he's like shouting like you would when you're like but he's walking.
Yeah.
and Stallone just shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The only thing that kills me, I mean, everyone talks about the fact that you see Stallone's face, but there's also, I mean, Rob Schneider. I don't need Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
The most I need of Rob
No one
Schneider is Home Alone 2. That's my Rob Schneider quota.
That was actually like the perfect mixture of Rob Schneider
Yeah.
to movie. Not the hot girl.
No, and I saw that movie too.
I did too.
Yeah, Evan saw The Animal.
How about
really
the
hate
stapler?
yourself.
Yeah, I do.
I feel like that's been well established on the show.
Yeah, if you catching up.
Yeah.
But the no, it's a great and I will say, even though there is a change in artists, the art style doesn't like vary dramatically.
No.
They keep the same
It's
sensibilities. So
Yeah.
it gets
still
our
has the same feel
smooth
to it.
transition.
yeah. So this gets our seal of approval. Definitely check it out. It'll be out in stores everywhere tomorrow at the time of this posting, and on Comixology. And yeah, it's phenomenal. But what
It is.
Yeah. What is there anything going out that you would say is your favorite aspect of the relaunch of the book?
I mean, I just became such a fan of Jughead. Like, I just love that character so much now. I mean, I've only read 6 issues and the first issue of Jughead, but like, it's the art, the writing, and I mean, if you guys need any more proof, take it from 1, 2, 3, 4 guys who've never really read an Archie book before. Say, I read Archie versus Predator, mostly for the Predator, but still it was great, and we've talked to Alice DeCampi about it, but it turned, the four of us, we're not like lifelong, devote our lives to Archie now.
Yeah, you don't see any Archie ink on these arms yet.
Yeah, but it does exactly what it needed to do. Bring it on new people, and kept the for the most part, from what I saw, the diehard fans happy. So it did exactly what it needed to do, and it's great. It's a great book.
And I think they're still publishing like the strip style Archies.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure.
Josh, anything? Chris, anything?
It's a toss up between the artwork and just the material, the writing.
I just kind of would re-emphasize what Jake was saying. Like, it's a great way to get new fans while still, from the best of my knowledge, still maintaining the same spirit of the original Archie.
There was nobody pissed at the comic shop. They're like, why the fuck do they have to relaunch Archie?
I'm sure there was, but I tuned it out. I didn't give a shit.
A true fan.
Yeah. I will say, I don't want to spoil it in the context of anything. I'll just say the super glue stuff, like the paneling with the super glue and what it was for, was the fucking funniest shit.
Yeah.
Like, I laughed my fucking ass off at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do a double take, and I was like, "What? Oh shit!"
I think the funniest thing for me is I think it's in issue 2 where it starts out with Archie getting trying to get a bunch of jobs.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the last job he tries to get, not the construction one, which
Sure.
is the big one in that issue, but the last thing in the montage where his manager's just like, "How?" That's the funniest gag for
Yeah.
me.
It's well done.
But yeah, check it out, guys. In shops everywhere. If you've never given Archie a shot, this is your chance. Well, this has been another Geek Out Book Club. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
Keep reading.